Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Cannot believe it is time for another monthly favorites video, but it is time for another monthly favorites video, August favorites to be exact. I'm going to share with you guys a couple of things I've really been loving this month, but I actually only have 6 products for you guys today, and one of them is actually a repeat item. I know for a fact that this has been in at least one favorites video before, but we're going to get into it right now. Before we do, any of you that are new, welcome to my channel. I hope that you will consider subscribing, hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. And let's go ahead and start talking about this product because I've got a lot of stuff to say today. Let's start off with this product, and it's the repeat item. It is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Foundation. I think I may have included this in like 2 favorites videos over the course of the last 8 months or so. So I went to my Walmart recently, and to my utter horror, the back corner of my Walmart had all of the Flower Beauty items on clearance, and I kind of panicked. They had rearranged all of the makeup products. They suddenly brought NYX into the main part of NYX now has an entire section of an aisle. Don't get me wrong, I love NYX. There's a lot of things from them that I love, but I love Flower Beauty, and I always have felt like their section of Walmart has been too small. So I asked the lady at the counter, what's going on? Are you guys getting rid of Flower Beauty? And she said, no, they're just back there in the corner on the right. I was like, yeah, they are, but everything has a clearance tab on it. It clearly looks like you guys are getting rid of them. She wasn't sure about that, but I'm pretty sure my Walmart is getting rid of Flower Beauty, and I'm so upset about that because I don't know where else to buy Flower Beauty other than buying things online, and I kind of hate to online shop for makeup. I have an easier time buying makeup from Walmart. I hope my husband's not listening to this. Just kidding. I'm pretty sure that he already knows. But I like when I can just go into my Walmart when I'm already buying groceries and just throw in 1 or 2 items here and there and kind of lump them in with the groceries. They absorb nicely into the grocery budget, and it keeps me from getting too many things that I don't need or spending more money than I'm comfortable spending. Does that sound terrible? Does anybody else do this? So I'm very upset about the fact that I think Flower Beauty is being taken out of my Walmart. I'm going to have to find an alternate, maybe in a city near me that sells Flower Beauty somewhere. But the reason that I mention this story is because amongst the clearance items, I did pick up 2 more of the Flower Beauty Light Illusion foundations. This has been a long favorite of mine. I love this foundation. They did not have a huge shade selection, so you can see I picked up one that is clearly too light for me and one that is clearly too dark for me. But I figured that I could either use these as mix-ins for other foundations or combine them together to create a more customized kind of shade match. These were more than 50% off. I got each of these bottles for $4.50. That is a steal. That's like Wet n Wild prices. And this foundation is probably one of my very favorite foundations in the world. I've realized that even at a deeper level as I've been using this pretty much constantly over the last two or 3 weeks. I just think this is such a great foundation. And the reason I wanted to mention it specifically today is because I'm sure a lot of you guys have noticed there are crazy amounts of foundations being thrown at us in every direction. I've been very interested and intrigued by a lot of them. But as I've used this foundation this last month, I just have kind of realized, you know, I feel like we're all searching for that foundation that's just going to take away all the things that we maybe don't like about our skin or don't like about ourselves. And I am one of those people that definitely gets sucked into that. But as I've really been enjoying this foundation, and it made me think to myself, you know, maybe I can hold off on trying out the new Fenty foundation or the new Anastasia foundation, which was a little bit of a relief to me because I definitely feel that pressure and not pressure, I wouldn't call it pressure, but I feel compelled to try some of the new launches out because I know that's what people are interested in, that's what people want. But I also have to balance that with my real life, like my real financial situation. I can't afford to do that at this point in my life, and I'm perfectly happy with some of the foundations that I already have. But I just wanted to say that in case any of you out there are maybe feeling that same kind of pull towards trying a new foundation, and maybe you have 8 foundations sitting in your drawer that you already really like. So maybe you can take a deep breath, use some of those foundations up first, and save that money for the next product that we're going to be talking about, which is an eyeshadow palette. So I'm just going to get this out of the way. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Jackie Aina palette. This palette I've only had for a week and 3 days. Now, I know that is probably not long enough for me to include it in this favorites video. I contemplated holding off on this one. There are a couple reasons I wanted to give myself a pass and let myself include it. First off, I have been using this palette a lot since I got it. I'm on the tail end of a 7 looks video with this palette. I think this that I'm wearing today is look number 6. And I've also used it a few times in just regular everyday life, not on camera. So I've used this palette as much as I use a lot of other palettes in a full month's time. So I feel like I've gotten to know this palette really well. And in addition to that, this is one of those palettes that I know this sounds cheesy and crazy, but once I saw it and then swatched it, I knew. Like I had this feeling in my soul that I knew this was a winner. This palette is so beautiful. I love this thing. I don't want to talk in too much detail about this palette right now because I do have a 7 looks video coming up in which I will fully review this palette. And I also just talked about it in a recent trying new makeup, something old, something new video. But I had to mention it today, you guys, because I just got done filming look number 6. And this look was another look that once I got done filming the look, I was like, wow, I like this one even better than I like the last one. And that does not happen very often. They're often when I do those 7 looks videos. I enjoy the creative process of creating all the looks, but I don't always love all the looks and how they come out. Sometimes I feel like some of them, I just don't think look stand out amazing on me. But so far, I have loved every look that I've come up with in this palette. They have all been so fun to work with, so beautiful, and I just think this palette is that perfect fusion of neutrals and colors. So I would say if you are one of those people that was curious about the Riviera palette, but maybe you thought, okay, that one's just way too intense for me, this would definitely be a better fit for you. This is a great, beautiful palette. In fact, if you take these pinks and purples, which are not overly intense, these are definitely not as intense as the pinks and purples in the Riviera palette, but once you take those out, the rest of the palette is it's very neutral, but they're interesting neutrals. You've got this red that's kind of like a bronzy red, but it's a true red at the same time, but it's also not so red that you couldn't actually wear this in your everyday life. Then you've got this green. This reminds me a lot of the one in the Alamar Cosmetics palette that I love. I love that shade in that. But you also have this really nice taupe in here. This green shade right here is so stunning. I'm wearing this on my eyes today. And when I finished creating this look this morning, I said to myself, that is it. This palette is going in my favorites video because it's truly a favorite of mine. This green, when I opened this palette, this was one of the shades I was the least excited about. I thought it would be one of those greens that we've seen 100 times before, kind of the matte club type of green. I know Wet n Wild has done one in their Comfort Zone palette. I have one in a ColourPop palette. I have one, I think, in a Coastal Scents palette. I've seen this type of a shade done so many times, and they always end up disappointing me a little bit. When I put those types of shades on my lid, all that beautiful green color that you see in the pan just doesn't really show up. You end up with just this kind of muddy, reddish brown looking kind of blah on your eyes. But this shade is totally different. This one has a lot more green in it. You can see when I shift it, you do see that kind of warm brown underneath it. But there's a lot of green there, and this is a little bit lighter of a green. It's more of almost a minty seafoam kind of green, almost a pastel-y sort of green. So not only do you see the green a little bit more, but it's also a little bit more brightening, which I love that on my lids because I just feel like I don't look very good in dark colors all over my lids. So this one still gives me some brightness, but I get some smokiness. But it's not just that shade, you guys. This is just a gorgeous palette. I could probably talk about this palette all day long. I'm going to try not to do that today because I probably will end up doing that in my 7 looks video that will be coming next week. But you guys, if you are interested in this palette, if you've been on the fence or wondering if this is a good palette that you would want to pick up, I am telling you it is lovely, but it is also limited edition, which I am so upset about. I know this won't be around forever. I'm assuming it will probably be available through Christmas. So if it is on your radar, I would say maybe for a Christmas gift, or maybe during the winter Sephora VIB sale, or maybe you have some Ulta points that you've saved up. I don't know where I would put this in my top 15, but I'm telling you guys, I feel like this has got to bump somebody out. I'm not going to make that statement quite yet. Maybe I'll do an updated video in 6 months, but I am hardcore in love with this palette. So next up, I want to talk about a setting spray, and I want to start off by saying this. I feel like I went on a bit of a rant recently when I talked about the L'Oreal Dew Mist. I mentioned that I picked this up at Walmart, and it was like $14. I want to say it was like $13.98 when I picked it up, and I was really surprised by that. I think anytime, especially when I'm in Walmart or Target, they always have the lowest prices. So anytime I get something in there that's creeping up towards that kind of $15 to $20 range, I start thinking Sephora, and I start thinking, well, if I'm going to spend $15 or $20, I'll just go to Sephora and buy something there because that's just really high for a drugstore price for me personally. I do think this is a lovely setting spray, but I have one that's even better. I should probably tell you what it is. It is the Catrice Prime and Fine Dewy Glow Setting Mist. No, fixing spray. This stuff is lovely, but it is still $8, which I feel a little bit more comfortable with that $8 price tag. But once I start looking at the price per ounce, these are pretty close to the same price. I think this one actually might be a smidge cheaper. So I feel like by mentioning this in my favorites video, I need to take back what I said about this because I know I was a little bit resentful about L'Oreal and this price. But I will say this, I think when you compare these two products together, they are not the same product. They're a little bit different. The misters are quite different. This one has a very soft, let me try and spray it and see if you guys can see it. This one has a very soft, slow released kind of gentle mist. It does smell nice. I think this one smells better. Oh, this mister is also fine, but hopefully you'll be able to hear this. I'm going to show you. It's fast, it's intense, but it's still very fine. This one gets the job done very, very quickly. This product actually has a little bit more of like some sort of iridescence to it. If you shake it up, you can, I don't know if you guys will catch that kind of swirling unicorn blood, kind of like the Harry Potter, you know, the first movie where they're hunting through the forest looking for unicorn blood. That's exactly what this reminds me of. I don't notice any sort of weird glitter or anything on my face with this, but it is beautiful. It gives you just that really nice subtle glow. I love just misting this once down this side, and then sometimes I'll take just a little bit of translucent matte powder and just add that back into like the center of my forehead and just right here, just to make sure it's not overly dewy looking. And it's kind of converting me to setting sprays. I'm not one that reaches for a setting spray every single day. Part of the reason for that is because I don't use a lot of powder on my face, but I love what this does for my skin. It just gives me a really nice, beautiful glow. The next product I have to share with you guys is an eyebrow product, and it's a very, very affordable eyebrow product. It is the Wet n Wild retractable eyebrow pencil. This is so nice. I have to thank whoever it was that mentioned in a comment a couple months back, I think, you mentioned this product in there, and when I read that comment, I thought to myself, hey, I have that sitting in my drawer and I have not used it for months and months and months and months, and I don't even know how I feel about that product. So I dug it back out and I started using it, and I have used this thing pretty religiously ever since, and I've got to say, this is a great eyebrow pencil. If you have maybe tried the e.l.f. one, you like the price tag on the e.l.f. one, but maybe you think it's a little bit too creamy and not precise enough, this one I think would be a better fit for you. It does kind of have that, it's not a micro pencil, but it has that kind of triangle point. I think this is similar to what the Anastasia brow definer, which I've never tried, but I've looked at several times. It kind of has the same feel as that one. I would say save yourself the money. Go spend $2.93 on this thing, because this is a great product. Mine is in the color taupe. It's a perfect shade match for me. This is a perfect consistency. Has just the right amount of stiffness to it, but it's not so stiff that it's going to take you 6 hours to put your eyebrows on. And it does have that very small point on the very top if you do like to do that kind of drawing individual strokes on your eyebrows. I just think this is a great affordable eyebrow product from the drugstore that I've never heard anybody talk about. So the last two things I have to share with you guys are both from Ofra. I placed my first Ofra purchase ever this last month. First off, I picked up the Ofra highlighter that was the March Beauty Word collaboration with Samantha March. If you saw my video a few months back, I talked about this highlighter and the fact that I dropped it and destroyed it, but I did repress it, and I've got to say, you guys, even though the packaging does not look anything like this, the highlight inside here is stunning. It is pretty intense, so if you do not like an intense highlighter, I would just skip this one altogether, because these are beaming, but somehow they're beaming while still not emphasizing texture on the skin. They almost have like a blurring effect. I'm wearing this one on my cheeks today, and somehow when I put this on my cheeks right here, even though it's super, super intense, it almost makes it look, there's just like a creaminess to my cheeks. I can't explain it. The reflectiveness in here is just so refined. It's not chunky. It doesn't emphasize my fine lines. A lot of intense highlighters do. I love an intense highlight, but I have to be careful with the types of formulas that I choose. This is a lovely formula. I'm not sure if this will still be available by the time I post this video. I want to say that Samantha said this was only going to be available till the end of August. However, if this specific highlighter is not available anymore once this video goes up, I will say that when she created this highlighter, it was a combination of, I think, her two favorite highlighters, which I believe were Pillow Talk and Star Island, if I'm not mistaken. Those are permanent shades from them, so you definitely could try out one of those. I just think the formula of these is really, really lovely if you like intense highlight, but you do have some texture on your skin. So the last thing I want to mention today is the Ofra lip gloss. I know I already ranted about this thing. I love the way this lip gloss looks on my lips. I do. I didn't want to love it because of the complaints that I have, which we'll get into in a sec if you didn't already hear me talk about it for 5 minutes in one of my recent videos, but it looks beautiful on my lips. I love the formula. It's really comfortable. This one is in the color Natural. I'm going to put it on for you guys right now. I have it on already, but I'm going to add a little bit more. As you can see, it just is so pretty on the lips. It just gives you such a pretty shine. It's super comfortable. One of the most comfortable glosses I've ever tried. Almost feels like an oil on your lips. It's just really, really comfortable. So as far as the gloss's performance, this would be a solid favorite for me this month. But I gotta mention one more time, for any of you that are new here or maybe have been considering this gloss, make sure that you know that you're not getting their regular sized product. So here's one of their full-sized liquid lipsticks. The full-size liquid lipstick has 0.28 ounces in it. This one does retail for a little bit more. It's $20. This one is $15, so it is a little bit cheaper, but you only get 0.11 ounces. So again, this one's 0.28 ounces. This one has 0.11 ounces, less than half what you get in here. And I think that is crazy because this lip gloss, if I used it every day like I probably would want to, it will be gone in 7 days. I feel like every time I apply this, I'm putting $1 on my lips. It just is a little bit frustrating to me because I spent $15 on something that I feel like I can't use because it's going to be gone, and I don't think I want to repurchase it despite the fact that I love it because it's just so expensive for the amount of product that you get. And gloss is one of the very few products that I actually go through. So I really want my glosses to have enough product in them to where I'm going to be able to use them for a while. And so it's just frustrating to me that I feel like this was priced like a regular higher end product, but you get basically a mini. And just to emphasize that point, I did a little bit of research. I went onto Sephora's website. I don't own the Fenty gloss, but I know a lot of people love that gloss and rave about it. And I also know that they do have a mini of the Fenty gloss. So I looked at the Fenty gloss. You can get a combination of a mini highlighter and a mini gloss. I think it was $28 on the Sephora website. But that mini gloss includes 0.18 ounces. So the Fenty gloss includes more product in their mini gloss than the Ofra full-size gloss. And I just think that's a little bit misleading. I feel like they should have not even necessarily priced it lower, but at least made it very obvious that this is a smaller version. Say this is a mini and even price it at $15 still, but tell people what they're getting. It's just not very apparent on their website. The packaging is the same as their full-size. I just don't understand why they didn't just give you like a full-size product. Like, use the same packaging and even price it at $20. I would have rather spent $20 on a full-size lip gloss than $15 on a mini. That might just be me. I know I'm ranting. I probably am annoying you guys, but I had some pretty deep feelings about that lip gloss. And I think it's unfortunate because I really do love the way this looks and feels on my lips. But I wanted to share those thoughts with you guys just so you can know what the deal is before you make that purchase. And with that, that is it for my favorite products from the month of August. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. I hope that you guys are looking forward to fall, if it is fall where you live. Those of you that are in winter, I hope that you are surviving winter and ready for spring, hopefully around the corner. But thank you all for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what products you guys have been loving and using over the last month. Always love hearing your comments and recommendations down below. And that is all for today. I hope that you guys all have a great day. I hope that you'll subscribe if you haven't yet done that, and I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye. Oh my gosh, that is a tough thing to say amongst the clearance section. There, that was better. Sorry if I'm bright today. It's so hard because sometimes people are like, you're too bright, turn your brightness down. Then I turn my brightness down, I go to edit my videos, I'm like, I'm too dark, I look terrible. Such a hard balance to strike. But I like things bright. I like to just blur myself out so I'm just a white sheet with eyeballs. But I figured I can either use these as oh my gosh. So if it's on your radar, oh my gosh, why can't I say radar? I think this one smells better. Oh, my nose is like, that smells so good. We've tried this before, Mandy. It didn't end well. Why are you trying it again?